yeah, it just, it lit the work on fire. And I've accomplished more in 4 days than I have in the last 4 months. And that's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you could tell me about your professional background and your experience as a founder.
Well, I've only ever worked for myself, so I don't know. You kids came up with founder, but I was just hustling and making my own work, basically, like pretty much forever. I've been I've had a variety of companies. I was a restaurateur for 15 years, and I have a health-oriented company now called Not Another Diet. Anyhow, I basically build online programs and courses now to try to teach people how to navigate the food system, how to understand food so that they can take better care of themselves. And I come at it from a very different perspective, no calorie counting, none of that shit. There's a good amount of explanation that's required, and I need specialized language. Like, I can't sound like everybody else. I just can't, because otherwise you're put into a trap with them. So in any case, that's my background. I've only ever worked for myself. I'm 54 and I've never even put together a resume. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the biggest challenge you've been facing with building this?
Well, so I went from having companies with employees to working on my own. And while I really love the freedom and flexibility that it offers, it is the silence is deafening, and it's really tough. I don't care how smart you are. It's really, really difficult to work out ideas properly by yourself. It's overwhelming, in fact, is what I would say, especially if your concepts are complicated and they need a simplified approach. And that's really, really difficult to do. And, I can do all of that with my work in terms of explaining concepts. It's really difficult to translate that into a business and then translate that into marketing messaging. Those are, it turns out like you have to have these 10 different hats and you're really only suited for 2. So I think, but it comes down to working alone and always listening only to your own voice. And that is rough.
So what were you using before AI Co-founder, and what wasn't working about it?
Well, a little bit of ChatGPT. I tried a little bit of Claude. I think those tools are good, but they're vast. And you really need something with constraints to help you, which I think is what you've built. It has a lot of constraints on it.
Yeah.
So I've hired people, which has been a big flop. I don't know. Mostly I just sit in my home and try to be smarter. And that's also really hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're sitting around by yourself, like, who cares what I'm doing? But so I would say a whole variety of really incomplete things that, I've moved the needle forward, but it's painful.
Yeah. If you could walk me through a specific moment where AI Co-founder has helped you.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm shocked, honestly. Like, I downloaded this on Friday.
Yeah.
And I've been working with it nonstop, basically. I had it prove out an idea that I already had, and a course that I already built, and messaging that really wasn't landing. And I put it through like it was a new business, although I did tell it at some point that it was already built. But I essentially made it go from scratch. And it's amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. Like, it pulls the research, it brings it into the marketing language, it's seamless into the course building. So at the same time that we're talking about building or rebuilding the course, we're also using that marketing language, and the research is also woven into all of that. But the biggest thing I would say is that I understand I'm not talking to a person. I don't want to come across as bonkers, but like, it feels like you're talking to somebody who is helping you. Did you think of this? Did you think of that? Like, what about these options? Which one feels more correct? And if you ask it to make a judgment, it will. At the end of the day, you have to use your own judgment. At the end of the day, you have to put in your own constraints about what you think you want to say. I'm certainly not handing it all over to AI co-founder, but it has moved the work. The biggest thing I would tell you is that it has made the work so much faster. It's faster, it's better. I feel less stressed. And what I love so many things about it. But like one of the things that I really love is that you can set it down and come back to it, and it's exactly where you left it off. You don't have to talk to somebody and be like, okay, and hope their organization or their thinking skills or organization skills are better than yours, which I honestly have not really found. But yeah, it lit the work on fire, and I've accomplished more in 4 days than I have in the last 4 months. And that's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't use it, just to be clear, I didn't use it to just build shit for me. We're having a consistent dialogue all the way through. So it's a little more painstaking because I don't want any AI platform to just build stuff for me. No, we're having a dialogue back and forth, back and forth. What about this language? What about that language? What does the research say? What is good for conversion? What is this? Will people understand this concept? It's like that. So it's painstaking, but the end product is very, very good.
For someone who's on the fence of trying AI co-founder, someone say in your shoes, what would you say to them?
Put your idea in there and let the system guide you through. Go in without clinging to your idea, without a bunch of ego, and let the system talk to you about, or let co-founder talk to you about what you're doing with an open mind, and you'll learn so much from that process. I have had businesses that succeeded. I have had businesses that failed. And let me tell you, it's a lot less painful to get your ideas reflected back to you, even if they're not good now, versus all the time and money spent pushing a boulder up a hill.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very useful thing. And I think jump in. I came to your product through a Medium article.
Okay.
And it's a guy I've been following for a number of years who I think is smart and writes good articles about scaling businesses and stuff. And he wrote about it. And so I just went and I just dabbled. I was like, all right, 15 credits, let's see what's up. And right from the get-go, it had me. So it felt natural and I wanted to proceed. So I honestly don't think you're going to have much of an issue once people try it. I think the issue is like finding the value, but I would tell you, if you have an idea and either it's not working very well or you're not sure if it's going to work, just do this. Just do it. Just do this thing. It's so helpful.